Good evening.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good. You have me only on phone tonight because I can't seem to log in otherwise.
I think I see the Swedish flag.
You do.
Oh,
Hello,
hi,
joining
Carol.
you. Turn the sound down a little.
Yeah, I don't know how it got to be 5:30 already.
No, it's 5:24.
Oh. $5:29 according to iPhone.
Well, I'm going to believe you because you're the techie. You're the computers.
Hi, Augie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mike. Oh, it's
Hello.
Augie. I don't see you, Augie. I don't know. You're not. Maybe that's okay.
Hi,
I'm
Chris.
not really sure how that's working. I'm driving, so I'm almost to where I can be still. So I'll try to fiddle around with it later.
Well, we can
Okay.
hear you and you can hear us, right?
Yes.
That's what counts.
Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Chris.
Can you hear me?
We
I can hear you, Chris.
Hi there. Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, according to Apple, it is 5:30 and we're going to begin the monthly City-owned Cemetery Advisory Committee meeting. I will need to advise everyone that the meeting is being recorded, which is really great. We've had to go back and listen to them ourselves. I'm Sandy Berry.
Can I ask a question? Is Mike Hale here? I'm just trying to get who's
Yes.
present.
Yes, he's the Swedish flag.
No, I'm not seeing him on my screen.
I am here.
Thank you, Mike. Just for attendance, that's all.
Understood.
Okay, I'm Sandy Berry. I'm the chair of the committee, and we're just going to take a quick roll call. I guess that we can count Mike Hale as checked in. Carol Kelly.
I'm here.
Okay, Chris
Here.
Augie.
Here.
Great. All right. I'm going to show my screen because that might help things here. All right, if you can't see the agenda on the screen, just let me know. Okay,
There you go.
seems like such a short agenda.
I got some new business. I don't know about
Here we
everybody
go.
else.
I didn't see page 2 just then. Okay. Number 1, review and accept the April 12th meeting minutes. Carol Kelly took the meeting minutes back in April. And I'd like to know, are there any proposed changes to the meeting minutes? I know that everybody read them, and I think there are some changes.
Yes, I'll just mention that Chris was really nice enough to send me, detailed, Chris, you are the detail queen, detailed corrections. And you know what? I don't care. I'll accept any changes Chris puts in because I'm not listening to the tape again.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So a motion to approve?
With Chris's addition, with Chris's fixes.
Yes.
Okay, so we
They're
have a
mostly
motion.
really minor things like a little grammar thing and a little, this. Does anybody want to see Chris's fixes? Did you?
I think
did you all get them?
We all got them from Chris, but I think we got them today. I printed them out. I just had a question about one thing. On number 4, it says that cemetery workers who are typically in the cemetery can open up a request. I don't think anybody can open a request that's on the committee, whether they're in the cemetery normally or not, right?
I thought it was just going to be the committee members.
Yes, that's what it, It's a yes.
Anybody?
Corrected by Carol, because I didn't pick up that error. It should be just the cemetery members of CCAC.
No, it's not an error. It just says when members who are often in the cemeteries. I just don't think that we need the often in the cemeteries. Because, for example, Carol, you've reported things to us before up in Lanesville. Do you know what I'm saying? There's just that who are often in the cemeteries. I just don't think we need that middle part.
But we said it. I think that was the point, is that we're in and out of the cemetery all the time, and that's why we might see something.
Oh, you're just kind of emphasizing the fact that we're in there,
Yeah.
not that you're often.
No, you don't have to fulfill a requirement of 7 days a month. It's
Yeah.
It's that we often are in the cemetery, so we see things.
We do. So that was the only thing that you were saying. It doesn't mean that you have to be in there, because we haven't even given Augie a tour of First Parish.
For all we know, he spent hours in there.
Yeah.
But as I said, Chris can listen to the tapes every month. I'm delighted. She can go ahead and fix anything she wants if she needs to. That's fine with me.
No, this is my
No, I know that, but I'm saying for the other things.
Okay, could I finish with mine?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so everybody's fine with leaving that in there. We don't have to be people who go on Sunday volunteer days who are often there type things. All right. I just wanted clarification on where that came from. All right, if everybody likes Chris's changes, I guess I vote to accept. Augie, do you vote to accept?
I second it.
Okay. And I guess we don't have to ask Chris because she wrote them. And Chris and Carol, you already said that you voted to accept.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I vote to accept, and it's unanimous. Okay, number 2. All set on that?
Perfect.
Okay, no, this was just a note on quorum, and I just had a question for Mike. I talked to Joanne Sinos, and she said that you are a voting member.
Okay.
Okay. You all right with that?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not this committee's issue. It's just the number of committees they put us on makes it difficult to attend all the meetings with any regularity. But that's aside. If they consider me a voting member, so be it.
All righty.
Sandy, question?
I didn't know that either.
Sandy, question?
Yes.
It says from the note you sent me about Joanne, what Joanne Seno said, obligations as a regular member, should it say voting member?
Yes, a regular member is a voting member.
Okay, so I'll make sure that that's clear. Okay, got it.
As well as an alternate, is also considered a regular.
That's me too, yeah.
Yeah. Good. All right, number 3, Mike Hale update on regulation and any kind of ordinance that should be included on the signs.
I think obviously we have, I think there should be I don't know, I'm kind of torn. We start talking about signs and what they need to say. Obviously there's information that can go on them. I think the signs themselves should be pretty just, certain cemetery signs. I think standalone rules about, dogs off leash, dogs at all, really. Those are the type of things that we have some cemetery rules already. I think that we use in other cemeteries. It seemed to me we could just have a rules sign posted so it's clear, but doesn't take away from like the aesthetic of the cemetery. I think if we're gonna have beautiful cemetery signs, I don't want to litter them with, rules that, they're important, but there just seem to be so many of them. That's all.
I know there are.
So the question I think was, can we have like a sign at the entrance to the cemetery saying the name perhaps and the date it was founded or whatever we decide on, And then later, as you go into the cemetery, a separate sign that, as you say, doesn't, mess up that nice aesthetic, but that encompasses all the rules. Is that allowed? Can we do that?
I think that's what we should do. And I don't think there's any, certainly no prohibition to that as far as I'm aware, but I don't know where that prohibition would ever fall from. So I think it's a great idea to do it like that.
Because I think right now, there's a homemade sign up at Clark Cemetery. They ordered one online. The signs on the front gate of First Parish Burial Ground have the rules right on the iron gate, and it doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's a perfect example of one that should be altered. Because we can make this look great, or at least as good as you can make it for signage. And some signage is beautiful, and I'd love to have some good buy-in on, the background color, the font size. I just think we have an opportunity right now, and if someone's willing to come in and sit with, Rose or myself, we probably could knock this out and have signs up really quickly.
Okay, good.
Is that, I hear that as a request for somebody to volunteer.
Yes. If anyone, again, I won't take up a lot of people's time. Just if we can get some help doing it, I think it'll go a long way.
I don't mind jumping in on that. I'm not the best with grammar. That's the only thing I would have somebody second look at whatever I see.
You know what, Augie? I'll go in with you. There'll be two of us. How's that sound?
Okay.
And I'm flexible. I know you're actually working. I can go anytime. We can work this out.
Yeah, Thursdays are my best day because I'm off, so I have time in the morning. So
Mike, does
whatever
that
works
sound
for
good?
you, Mike, in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's just one of the two of you just find a Thursday. If Thursdays work best for Augie, find a Thursday that works best for everyone on your side. We're there Monday through Friday already, so for us to be there, it shouldn't be that big a deal.
Sounds good.
So we can follow up after this and look at the next couple of Thursdays.
Sounds
like
good to
a
me.
plan.
Okay, and once again, are dogs allowed on the path on a leash, or did you say not at all?
I don't believe dogs are allowed at all because there is no such thing as dogs on a leash.
That's too bad.
People believe that, but I mean, you go to all the historic cemeteries and they have dog parks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's what the sign needs to say, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think we just got to find a way to make it sound, right. That's all.
yeah, it's somebody's grandmother's grave, right?
Yeah, and good. So we'll leave it to you guys to make it nice and not horribly obtrusive. There's some really bad signs out there. So
All right, Augie and I will meet with Mike or Rose and then report back next month. How's that sound?
Great.
That sound good, Augie?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk.
Oh, good. And then you'll bring the suggestion back to the committee and we just say, yay, nay, let's go with it.
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
Mike, does that sound right?
Yeah, I mean, this should be pretty light lifting. All we're doing is looking for some sort of consensus on what the sign should look like, and they go up.
Yeah. The only thing I'll mention is I thought, Sandy, am I right that at some point you really liked the ones that looked like, you had a specific example, and I'm trying to remember which one it was that you really liked.
Maybe I'll send it to you and Augie because I know we have it on the Google Drive, but this is like last fall.
Yeah.
I just don't remember which cemetery was kind of nice.
Thank you.
All right, good. Next one. The Elizabeth Plummer stone. I wanted to ask you people, number 4, a stone, there's a stone that's currently in my living room for full disclosure, in a little display that I got from the people that donated it back. I'd like to find out how much it would cost to repair. Is this something like I could bring to like a Sunday, maybe even this Sunday if I know Rob Suburban will be there, and just have him give us an idea of how much it would cost to repair?
Yeah, I think the question is if Rob is going to be there. I don't know why he wouldn't be able to tell you that.
Yeah,
I mean, he might tell you he's too busy to do it, but he could give you an idea of how much it would cost, right?
yeah, we've never done one-off
Well, don't
estimates
forget, we're
like-
gonna add right into this number 5 Langsford Street, so we've got this little package.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's, 2 things there.
right. And I'm asking about number 4 also,
Right.
in line with number 5, is that the somebody that's an ancestor to Elizabeth Plummer would like to make a donation. I want to give the woman an idea of, how much it's going to cost. All right, great. I just don't want to be carrying this stone everywhere without one of your regulation checkout forms. So,
I think this is a little irregular already. It's fine.
all right, thanks.
Hello? Sandy, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Hi, Chris.
I'm checked in with Mount Pleasant Memorial, and they all gave that they would be interested in repairing the stone. So you need to price well.
I can't hear Chris at all.
Chris,
Yeah, you can't hear me?
do you have a headset on?
Oh, I have my earbud. 1 second.
All I heard was Mount Pleasant Memorials.
She's referring to Mount Pleasant has
Right.
also offered to give estimates.
Oh, good.
Okay, great.
Great. Okay, that works.
All right, then. Thank you. Give a thumbs up if that's what you said, Chris.
I know. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, number 5.
Right.
Good.
So I went into Langsford Street this week. I took photographs, and I'll say right now, about 6 stones altogether. They're actually not in terrible shape. They're broken in one place, but they're not shattered. They're not in a million pieces. They're quite extant. They just need to be reset onto their places. I'm going to finish up. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, I think Augie misspoke.
Oh,
No, I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, that's
I thought
all
I
right.
had you on mute. I had to tell my mother-in-law. I apologize.
That's okay. No, I just didn't know what was going on. So I'd like to, I want to clean the stones a little. I talked to Sandy a little bit about that this week. And I also am trying to look, Sandy, do we have a map of Langsford Street that names the numbers of the plots?
I think I have a whole file here on Langsford.
So I'd like to actually be able to say what number the stones are that are broken
Okay.
in the report I'm writing, so that we could then bring it to Mount Pleasant or whomever to figure out, and we can do $500 a year for the next however many years to get those fixed.
Okay. Good.
So my report is in the middle of being finished.
Okay. Now, and just let me know now when I'll be at First Parish Burial Ground with the D2 on Sunday at 10 o'clock.
All right.
If you want to get it. And if I can find the map here,
Yeah.
I'll bring that with me.
Even better. Okay. And then I can, by next month, have it all organized.
And if you can't come on Sunday, I mean, I can just leave it in my front doorway.
Okay. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they need cleaning. They've got, whatever reason, Langsford Street, that yellow lichen just loves the stones and close to the ocean. And it's, you really can't read the stones or anything. So
No, you have to use a plastic scraper too, and little bamboo skewers to clean the letters.
All part of the project.
Yeah,
All right.
good. Sounds like a good plan. Are you gonna ask just Mount Pleasant for a quote?
I have no
Or-
idea. No, I don't know.
You know what you could do is also ask Rob. We like to get a couple of different
I agree.
quotes just to see Rob and Mount Pleasant, like they could come over, Rob could come over and on a separate day have Mount Pleasant just come over and give you an idea.
Well, actually, I think the photographs are so clear. I mean, it's really, most of them are pretty straightforward. They're broken. The base is either sitting there, or the hole's sitting there. And, you know, it's just, none of them are, as I say, in pieces. They're all pretty extant.
Well, what they do is they do tilting measurements and.
Well, they're lying on the ground, Sandy.
Yeah.
They're not tipped.
No,
They're
I think
down.
it'd be okay to ask them to come though,
Got it. Okay.
to do an estimate, just because
Yep.
it's money, you know.
Got it. And I've got the before pictures, of course.
Oh, very good.
Well, because I've taken them. I mean,
I know. Okay, if we're done with that, number 6, national parks, the Robinson Scholarship.
I think you called Moss, didn't you, or contacted him?
I did, but he hasn't given any, I think everybody was on the email with him.
Right. But we want to get it in the minutes, so.
Yeah, we do. Oh, right, of course. Okay, just 1 minute here. Just 1 second. I got to get the right syntax to you for what was discussed. 1 minute, Carol. Just
Yeah, no problem. If I remember, he mentioned that Jonathan would be interested, Jonathan Apple.
yeah.
And then he wanted to continue to discuss with you the possibility of them doing a workshop here for the summer. I don't know if anybody else got that.
Okay, so can you see it on my screen right now?
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, yeah, I have to put my glasses. Well, okay, I can see the notes. If I don't have the glasses on, I can't. Oh, never mind. You don't even want to hear this.
Okay, I'm gonna read it to you. Moss Rudley talked to John Appel, Appell.
Right.
He is interested in doing the work you have. We are also discussing the possible workshop for later in the year. And this was when we were.
Recording in progress.
This is when I thought I had to find a substitute for the Lannons.
Right. The
And
Fannons.
working on Chris's 3-year CPA grant.
Right.
So he was interested in doing that work.
Oh, that's the reference then.
Yeah, that's what the first sentence is. But we're going
Could
to
you
talk
repeat that,
about,
Sandy, could you repeat that, Sandy? I'm sorry, I wasn't following that.
okay. When you sent us an email saying that you lost the Fannons to the CPA grant that you just submitted,
Yes?
I thought you needed to find a substitute. This is the misunderstanding thing. I thought you were asking me to find somebody to, you know, give a quote for the work. So I contacted Moss. And he contacted John and they were interested in doing the CPA work.
For 3 years.
Yes.
Okay, so then they're interested in being on the list of restorers then.
Yes.
Good,
John.
good. That'd be for John is. Okay, great. That's good to know.
Yep. Let me just see. Do I have everybody on here? Yes, I've got everybody. You guys got the email. I'm just going to say when it came in. Monday, May 2nd. okay, at 9:51 a.m. It's an email that also gives John's telephone number. This is going, you don't have to put his phone number into public record, sorry.
Right.
But that email you guys can look at.
Yeah, I thought that email was about the work for the workshop because it didn't reference what work we had from. Cause I don't think I saw your email, your request to him. Did you put your request in there?
He may not have included it. Let's go down a little further here.
I just thought you were referring to the workshop that comes for the 2 days. I had no idea you were speaking about the CPA.
Okay, hello Moss. I hope this email finds you well. Our committee is looking for qualified headstone restoration professionals to conduct some grant work in Gloucester. It's in that May 2nd email.
Okay.
Also, please let us know if you'd like to conduct a training in Gloucester. So he answers both questions.
Okay.
And please let me know if you didn't get this because I can resend it.
Right. I must have not looked down far enough because you sent the whole email, your email plus his response. I just must have looked all the way down and to see.
No, I am. Aren't you pleased? I mean, Jonathan is
yes.
the best.
I know.
He's one of the best.
Yes, and we'll talk about that too when we talk about restores. But that's great that he's interested.
Okay, there you go. Carol, thank you for reminding me. We needed to state the details there. Okay, so I'm going to. What I'll do if the committee thinks that this is okay, I'm going to reply to Moss and say that we are interested in the workshop for 2 days. On a Saturday and a Sunday. And I think that we have to let them set the date. Typically.
Do you want a motion to say we want that or support it?
I'm about to
Since in a sense, it's like a contractual thing.
yes, okay. I'd like to propose that we host the Robinson Scholarship this year for 2 days on a weekend.
Time to be determined by,
Typically their schedule.
right, by Moss Rudley. How's that?
Yes, and yes, Moss Rudley.
Okay. I second that motion.
Is there, Chris?
I'm fine with that. Yes.
Okay, Augie,
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Good. Sandy? Yes. All right. We've had them at the cemetery for probably, this will probably be the 3rd or the 4th time, and they do a lot of work for us that, as part of the training.
Yeah, I think we make out like bandits. We get to go to the workshop free and they do all the work at our cemeteries. It's like,
And they bring all their own materials. We
Yeah.
just supply the stone, the water, and the rock, which will all be.
and I
there.
run down and get my car hit while I'm picking up lunch.
Exactly. Once it gets closer, we'll talk to the Veteran Center about having lunch in there.
Yeah.
Good. All right, number 7, grant status. Chris, First Parish Burial Ground, which is the Shrab Grant. Want to do that one first?
Sure. So the Shrab grant covers Clark Cemetery, First Parish, Cherry Hill, and Bayview. And The Fannons, we're going to start. The Fannons have First Parish. They have 10. They have 9 right now, and I'll find a 10th one for them. But they were supposed to start this week, but they both contracted COVID, so they're going to be delayed maybe until June. Rob, who has Clark as well as Cherry Hill and Bayview, he will be starting in June, and he has about 23 gravestones that he'll be doing. So right now I'm just working on getting their supplies. They both request supplies, so getting their supplies to their various cemeteries. I've okayed it with DPW. I'm just working with Rose with her schedule, and I think it's going to be just fine. And with respect to me, I'm going to start working on the Shrab grant cleaning stones in Cherry Hill this week.
Okay, now, this first grant status for first FPBG is Shrab, is that right?
Well, actually, you shouldn't put down FPBG. You probably should just put the Shrab grant, because the Shrab covers 4 different cemeteries, and First Parish is one of them.
Okay, good. So we're gonna call this the Shrab 2022.
Mm-hmm. Veterans. If I
Um,
just call it Shrab Veterans, because it's only veterans, Sandy.
Okay, Shrab Veterans 2022.
Perfect.
Okay, and the grant amount was for 9,800?
15,000.
Well, this is the bigger one.
Well, that's the only one I know of,
Excellent.
Sandy. I don't know of any others. Oh, you're thinking
Well-
about so now you're thinking about the CPA for 2021. The one that Rob is working on with respect to the York stones and those. That's what you're thinking about with respect to just the First Parish, correct?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure what that's why we'll be way more clear when we do these agendas. I'm sorry. This might even have been.
I didn't write the agenda, Sandy, so I don't know who wrote it.
Probably me.
I wasn't participating. Yeah.
It's okay,
So anyway.
okay, but in because we want to keep clear on all of these going forward, I'm just taking let's see. So let's call the first note on this, Carol, is Shrab 2022 Vets. That
Okay.
one was 15,000, and you've got all the cemeteries in that one.
Right, and I
Okay.
have the number of stones.
Okay, now let's get a status on Bray.
Well, would you want to go back to First Parish again, what you asked about? Because you're right, there is a First Parish burial ground that we would call that CPA grant 2022, I guess. And that has the stones that Rob has repaired, and he's planning on returning them to the cemetery in June as well. And that was, like you said, Sandy, that was for $9,800.
Okay, question, Chris, are these the stones that had been stored in the DPW? That's what makes clear to me.
Yes, exactly. The York
okay.
Stone. Exactly.
Yes.
So again, and that's being paid for by CPA. Actually, it's a CPA grant 2021. Sandy and I wanted in 2021, and it was for $9,800. And like you said, it's for the DPW stones that were stored there.
Okay, how are we going to designate this? So, I keep track of these in a file. Let me just show you something here. Let's see. Like, for example, like, can you, oh boy. Can you see my screen okay? It says provider, Shrab 2017. So this is the year. And then I had the submitted and the awarded in the description, but the full cost because of, so let's give the title to things of the year that they, which title do you want to give things?
I would
Well,
suggest the year they're awarded.
Right. I'd agree with that.
Okay,
And
So
I
I'm gonna
like
go-
I like your I like the categories you set up, and actually I'm just copying them down because that's why I think we should probably use this as when the work begins, and then the restore, and then this chunk of information is a chunk of information that we sent to Rose, so she and Mike and the DPW know what's going on, and Carol, when she gets her proposal together for Langsford, she'll do the same, send that information to Rose, so everybody at DPW knows what's going on.
good. Yeah,
That's real
because,
nice.
yeah, these were just rough notes, trying to keep all of our grants figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So Sandy, I think I can just for a second here. So we've got one, Shrab Veterans 2022, $15,000.
I think that now is called 2021 because it was.
No, the Shrab one was 2022.
Was it?
If my notes are right. Chris, feel free to jump in here.
Well, I'm going back.
No,
I'm going backwards
Go
because I
ahead.
think we just decided to change the title to the year it was awarded, I thought.
You know what? It wasn't awarded to us until January of 2022. Brad wasn't awarded to us till January of 2022.
So that's one.
but
And then a second one is the CPA 2021 for $9,800 for the DPW stones.
Chris, one more question about the title on the Shrab. Should
Sure.
it be, but ideally, isn't it the Shrab application? Wasn't that a 2021 Shrab application?
Sure. So when you in your designation, submitted. It was submitted. Actually, no, it was submitted in January. Actually, in 2022.
You submitted it in
Shrab.
January of 2022?
And then we heard within 2 weeks that we got it.
Shrab, is
I don't
that
think it-
fast?
Well, it was. It might have been December. I'd have to look back, Sandy, but I'll get the data correct. But I think we didn't hear about the Shrab until 2022. Now, so that it was awarded in January of 2022. So I think I agree with Carol that we'll call these grants in accordance to when they were awarded. And that one was awarded in January 2022. But I'll fill out the form.
When we're working on a grant, right, say that
Mhm.
you're starting to work on a grant now,
Right.
will you call it 2023 then? Shouldn't it have been
Yes,
called
like
2023,
no.
the one you just did?
Well, no, that CPA grant that I submitted, it's CPA 2022 because I'm submitting it the year of 2022. But maybe if we're awarded that grant for Bayview, then I guess we would give it the name of CPA 2023 if we agree. We first have to agree that we will call the grant by the year that it was awarded. If the CPA grant we just submitted is awarded to us in December, then we can call it, CPA 2022, because our rule, if we agree to this rule, that we call the grant by the year that it was awarded to us. But I guess we first have to vote on that.
I think it seems more important maybe the year it was submitted, because it doesn't matter if the year is correct. What it matters is that we can keep the grants clear and separate. That's what matters.
That's what I'm worried about. And
So if
Caroline,
we do submitted, then you have a date on the submission, and that's
and
an
it
easy
doesn't
thing.
change,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Okay.
yeah, that way I don't have to, like when we go back and try to figure things out in past minutes,
And it doesn't matter when it's awarded, it's the fact that we submitted it at a date that's on the submission. So that makes it
Yeah.
an easy thing, right?
Right, because exactly, because that's what I would do here is it was submitted, but then the awarded and the work begins.
Well, it doesn't matter. especially with work might be postponed till the summer or whatever. What matters for us just to keep track is to make sure it's clear that this is one grant and that's another grant. And so if we use the submitted date, that'll be easy, won't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be. So let's use, so we'll call the grant by the year it was submitted.
So when
Okay.
was can you look up, Chris, and just get back to me about when the Schwab grant was submitted?
Yeah, can I get control of my computer when Sandy's got stuff up here or no?
yes.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
What do you mean? Do you want to show something on the screen or you just want to use your computer?
Well, yeah, I have something open, but see, it's like my whole screen is taken up with what Sandy's sharing.
Oh,
with us,
just
which is great.
just use the little box that makes it a smaller part of the screen.
Okay, so,
I don't know. Are you using a Mac or a PC?
I'm on a PC.
Yeah, so the
So,
little box that lets you share a file, so it makes it half the screen size.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So
So,
now can we clarify? So Chris has got to look it up because if we got the Schwab grant in 2022, she just needs to check to see if the
Okay,
date of the submission is 2021 or 2022.
I just looked it up and it was submitted in 2021, but once again, Chris could verify that.
All right, so that's good. Then the CPA grant was also submitted in 2021, right? The one for $9,800, the
Yes.
DPW stones.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. That's
So
what we
we've
called
got
this.
2 grants, totally different amounts of money. No problem keeping them straight.
No, exactly.
All right, that's all we're after is clarity here. That's the most important thing.
All right, here's the wonderful thing about this. We've never had so many grants that we had to worry about this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So it's a good problem to resolve right now.
All right, that
Okay.
sounds good.
Yeah, okay. So DPW is going to be called, the DPW stones are the CPA 2021,
Yep.
$9,800, return in June. Now, the Bray, which is one of my favorites,
Yeah.
When was
So
that
that's the
submitted?
new- that was submitted in 2021.
Perfect. Okay.
And that would be called New England Biolabs 2021.
Got it.
and this is 2 Freeman stones.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the status of that one?
That's going to start in June.
And who's doing that one, Chris?
Rob Sarabian.
Now, and Chris, this is just a reminder on this. The reason why I thought that I had to rush off and try to find somebody to replace the fan ends, just in general, is that we're trying to gather more, preservation specialists. And just to reiterate, I think we have Jonathan, Rob, Fannon's when, they're okay. And
Mount Pleasant.
I think
And Mount
the
Pleasant.
fans, I'm not sure about the Fannons. I think they've told me that they have enough work right now, and they were projecting into the next 3 years. So they may be committed. Maybe they'll do 1 or 2 stones, but I don't think they're into a big project from the email they sent me.
okay,
And Carol, could you correct this? The Schwab grant was submitted in January the 9th, 2022.
Okay.
Thanks.
So that's going to change the name. It's going to be Schwab Veterans 2022 or whatever. Yeah.
Perfect.
Is that okay, Sandy?
yeah, it's interesting.
And that's the one for 15,000.
Correct.
Yep. And like I say, it's just a matter of clarity what we've got out there.
Yeah.
Good, okay, all right, sorry. This was really important to kind of sort out those grants. And I want to thank you so much, Chris, for doing all this work.
And we all did well. We should be proud of ourselves. We're good. As a committee, we really work well together.
Yeah, but you did these 3 grants, and because of the COVID year, the DPW came through with $2,500 to kind of help us out, just to get through
Yep.
last summer.
Right. And
So
yeah.
You're right. It all worked well together.
Mm,
Oh, okay. So I got a bunch of stuff in my basement. This is number 8. If you're all done with number 7. Okay, agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, agenda not, number 8. Moving supplies from Sandy's basement. I've got somebody to help me put them in my car. I just need help on the other end, getting it out.
Tell me when you're gonna be there.
10 o'clock Sunday.
I'll show up. I don't know what I can lift, but I'll be emotional support.
Yeah.
I'll probably be there to pick up supplies for Cherry Hill, so I'll probably see you there.
Okay. Now, that's a good question. If Rob is doing the work, he needs our supplies, but if the Fannons do the work, they bring their own supplies, and Jonathan Apparel will bring his own supplies, right?
don't know that.
The Fannons need pea stone. They need sand, which we supplied. Rob
No,
needs 3
Oh, well, what supplies are you bringing to Cherry Hill?
so I can clean stones. It's supplies that I need. Clean stones. Remember the in-kind work? I have to make up 267 hours.
We're gonna help you, Chris.
Well, that's good. All I know is I'm not gonna. If you want to come, that would be wonderful. But I'm going to start this week. Start I've already logged in a lot of hours already, but I'm going to start logging in hours for cleaning this week.
Do you want to conduct work at Cherry Street this week on Sunday?
I think what we'll do is we'll all meet there and unload your car, and then we should talk. And I think that'd be a great thing.
Okay.
To talk and just and talk and see what we all think.
Okay.
So should I go to FPBG or Cherry Hill on Sunday?
No, the First Parish, Carol.
Okay.
Mhm.
I am working this weekend, so unless it's quiet, I probably won't be able to help you this weekend. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Augie. But we still would love to give you a tour of First Parish because that's our show place. Most of the work has been done there, and now we're branching off into other cemeteries, which is incredible in itself. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay.
Chris, may I ask the 267 hours, is that for the Shrab Veterans 2022? Is that what it's for?
Yes, exactly.
Just
exactly.
to connect it, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure that's the number, Carol. But if I'm off, I'll get you the correct number, hon.
Oh, it's fine. Nobody reads our minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point, though, because we should talk about where we need volunteer hours done.
Well, I thought I was going to hit that with new business, and if
Okay,
that's okay,
good.
I'll hit that. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. But which grant was that for again?
Shrab Veterans 2022.
Okay, good. Number 9, the dam workshop.
My favorite phrase. Do we want to do this?
Yep.
Okay.
I am for it.
I'm pretty flexible. I don't know. Augie, I don't know if you want to come. Do you play with Access? Do you do data? Do you like this stuff? It's stuff I love, but
I'm not a big data person, but I will always try something and see what I can contribute.
Well, how about this? We will invite you, and if you can make it, you can come.
sounds good.
Perfect.
Okay. I can tell you're busy with what's going on in the city. Sorry.
Do we want to try and set up a date?
Okay. I'm ready. I have my calendar out.
I'm basically free most evenings. I mean, I don't have anything. And
I
you
was
work,
thinking we could
Augie
use-
works.
I am off Thursdays, so if it's as long as it's in the morning, I'm good.
Chris, what about you?
I just
I'm
can't.
good.
Oh,
I think I know about Sandy's, Sandy doesn't get off work till 5. So I was just, if it's during the week, I thought we'd do it after that,
Yeah, that's why I said I'm free most evenings.
okay.
Right. And
I'm not free on Wednesdays. How about if you work around that?
And
So
this
how
is
about
5 and on?
next week, Thursday evening?
Okay.
I don't know the date. Do you have a calendar right there?
Yeah, the 19th.
Thursday the
And
19th.
I'll try to get the veterans, ISV, if we can use the veterans. You want to try that?
Perfect.
Okay, so the 19th, what, 6 o'clock, 5:30? What do you want to do?
5:30, 6,
Okay,
does 5:30?
Okay,
Mhm.
come prepare with your computers.
Yep.
I'll have some stuff ready for us.
Super.
That is only the beginning of this. I don't know what the Campbell photos, stone condition tracking, but I want to there's some other stuff there.
I'll bring that stuff. That'll be my things to bring.
Okay.
But we may not have time. The priority is Dan.
Sounds good. All right, got it.
Thank you for asking for a date while we're all on. Anything else on 9?
Nope.
10, ideas for the city website, Google Drive inventory. Here's what's happened, and I'll explain. People will ask me for documents. It's either in a shelf right behind me, in folders that I got from Patty Amaral, who she got from a basement somewhere in the city, or they'll be in an email, because all of you weren't on the committee when the committee first was
Right.
originated, so you didn't receive the email with the attachment, and that's not a way to store email or store records anyway. The third way is Google Drives. I joined the committee when somebody else was like the head of the committee. Rachel, Rachel, I can't remember her last name. What was her name?
Myers, Rachel
Yeah.
Myers.
Yes, I joined the committee and she managed all the Google documents, and I can't change things around easily. And we ran out of space last year, and I created a second area to store documents. So as you can imagine, things have gotten sprawled. So what I've started doing is putting some things, for some reason we needed the maps. There was something that required the maps to be loaded up, and there was a family looking for parsons and grids and things like that. So I put the entire thing up on the city site for First Parish. And
Cherry Hill's up there. I just looked at it today. Right? It said FPBG in First Parish, so I didn't know. I mean, so FPBG in Cherry Hill.
I might have done Cherry Hill too. Yeah, I was trying to get that going. And things are all over the place, and I don't feel really good about that. And Chris asked me for some important documents last week, and they were, it wasn't easy for me to find them. So.
May I suggest?
Yes.
I am a librarian. I would be glad to start with your assistance to try and bring this to some kind of orderly, happy place.
Let me ask this, because I have a feeling I know what the answer is. I'm not sure, but I don't get the sense that there's so much on the Google Drives that I don't think the committee accesses them.
I find
don't-
I don't use it. I don't.
I use them. They're really helpful.
Oh,
That's great.
Carol, I was curious about this because see,
I'm
Sandy
sorry,
is
Chris,
out of her-
you're furry.
Okay.
I don't know any other word to use. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble understanding you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, better.
So Sandy is paying for the Google the Google Drive out of her pocket. Is there ways, because you deal with some of the IT people in the city, can we get some sort of Google Docs and associated with our web page, something like that, and so that we have access to it, but it's not coming out of her pocket and it's more public in that sense.
Right.
okay.
Well,
I'm going
go
to
ahead.
clarify. I
Yeah.
don't pay for anything.
you just said.
Oh,
Number two, I've met with the city before this this committee kind of formed, the current, makeup of this committee. And I have unlimited space. It's a matter of deciding, and this was a project from like 2 years ago when, we were all discussing this, of deciding what should go up in the city site because we didn't want to move garbage up.
And that's
Right,
exactly the
right.
information I had from James when he used to be the head of the IT. That basically the city server is gigantic and there's no problem with finding space on it. And we're only using a small proportion. I mean, just think every real estate record for the city is up there. Every permit for so you could see other departments are storing huge amounts of information. So we're certainly able, as far as I know, to do the same. But what we really need, I think, is to have a plan for what's important and what we want to make publicly accessible and how we would want to organize it. And so I think this is another one of those work group things where we've already made the decision that we need to do this. So it's not something that has to be done in public. We can, that decision is public. But we can work on how to do it as a group to try and come to a really nice, organized way to set things up.
right, right.
That's, very simple kinds of things that I can think of.
And it would be like, this is our city site right now
Yeah.
with cemetery lists, agendas and minutes, Facebook links, all of our inscriptions, cemetery maps. And you can create these master buckets right here, for
Right.
example, and a little plus sign, and then just put, the whatever cemetery maps, or next thing could be like, I don't know. I mean, whatever we want to have.
Well, I must admit that in my imagination, one of the ways I had thought was a beautiful plan, whether it would ever be accomplished, would be to set it up so, for example, we would have FPG folder. And in the FPPG folder would be maps of FPPG and all the information about it, because I think that's the way people search. And then we would have the big database that lets you find out which cemetery your relatives are in, so you know where to go. But so those two things would work together on the city website. But it would be really productive kind of discussion about what we need, what people ask us for, what we want to make accessible. And then we can go to IT and talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I don't know about, let me ask you this. If this is the Google Drive and the top level is FPG here.
Yep.
We have this is how we have it kind of broken down right now.
Right. I can see that, by the way, Sandy, but I can't read it, but that's another story.
Oh, okay, like
That's okay.
biographies of individuals, grants, individuals by name,
So for example, the grants we've applied for probably don't need to be on the city website. Just as an example, because that's not something somebody doing research on their family needs to know. So then, that then becomes one of the kinds of things that the committee deals with and shares with the DPW, but that we don't necessarily think needs to be up on the city website. You see what I'm saying? Is trying to sort things out like that.
And we need to make sure that it's clear in some place that in 10 years, 20 years, wherever, like right now, these boxes that came in for me,
Yep,
they were in somebody's basement. Google
Yep.
Drive is going to be considered somebody's basement in 25 years.
that's right.
So how do we preserve these things?
Though
And the
I'll
only-
say the major thing is to get it up on the city website, where then IT becomes the responsible party for transitioning to the latest technology, which is why it needs to be on the city website. The other thing is, Mike bought us that little PDF feeder scanner. I've got it sitting right in my barn. It's ready to go anytime. We can scan documents into PDF, so that if you have piles of paper, we can deal with piles of paper.
Well, you and I met for like 3 hours one day going through just a couple of folders,
Yep.
and it was pretty cumbersome and overwhelming. And it was almost like, well, what do we need to save? It all comes down to that.
Yeah. But that's always the question. Is it unique? Is it important? Those are the kinds of things, or is it a 47th copy of the same thing,
Right.
and
And the
or
other
is it
thing
in
too-
another 23 places,
There's a lot of repetition, as you said, in some of the Google Docs, but I think too that if you could set up on the website, it'd be nice to also have, I like it because I always search for breaking up in cemeteries, but it'd be nice if people could use it in a genealogical aspect too, because Sandy, I like the fact that you have biographies, for the first parish. And so a folder, as Carol says, having a main topic, and then you have multiple folders, so people could actually come to the city website and maybe see if there was a particular biography on somebody just someone happened to do, like you have here. I
but
think
the point would
genealogy-
be is that every cemetery would have the same folders. So there would be a
of
map
course.
folder in FPG and a map folder in Cherry and a map folder in Langsford. And I guess that's what,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes, there's consistency throughout, so that once someone learned what the route was, they could go to any of the cemeteries and say,
and
okay,
you
yeah,
can
I
have a
can see
document
something.
that explains that organization. So
Exactly,
my
exactly.
suggestion would be is that we have a little work group. We get
Mhm.
together and we sort of thrash this out, because obviously, in some ways it's very easy and clear. And
Mhm.
Okay, that's what we'll do then.
shall we
So
do
we'll
that?
Okay, that's
We'll conclude this discussion then with, we just make a note on this one.
I am.
Okay. Number 10 requires a separate workshop to,
right.
in the, to be decided at some point,
Yep. And I think that it's sooner is better, but that's just,
Right. We'll finish the M1 and then we move on to this.
that sounds
'Cause
right.
they're very related.
Yep.
Good. Okay, if we're done with that one, everybody okay to move on? If you're not, let me know.
Sounds good.
Okay, number 11. I think we've just touched on this a little bit, and we've already mentioned the list of professionals.
I'll actually
I
put
just
the
wanna-
list in here.
Hmm?
I'll put that
Yeah, and
list
I'd like-
from. Go ahead.
I'd like to add that I contacted Massachusetts Historical Commission, and they said I should check out I know Sandy had checked out gravestone. What's it? I don't know the full title. Gravestone Studies, and unfortunately they weren't very fruitful in providing information. And then I tried Preservation Massachusetts, which was recommended, but they do have a directory of restores, but they're paid. They pay to be on the list, and they're not sanctioned by the Preservation, Massachusetts. So I have a call into Paul Hope, who's the historical architect for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and hopefully he'll be able to help us too with possible restorers that work on the North Shore or Cape Ann.
Got it.
And lastly, since Sandy has opened the door for Jonathan, when they come to the workshop, because my last grant will probably be for Cove Hill. When they come for the workshop, then I can kind of ask him to come over and really look at Cove Hill and get a good idea of how much it would cost, so I know what I need to ask for in an upcoming grant. That sound okay with y'all?
Sounds
What was
good to
that
me.
again, Chris? Just for my benefit. I looked away. It wasn't a volume thing.
Sure. So when they come for the workshop, let's say they come in August, Jonathan and Moz, then we can ask Jonathan to come to Cove Hill and give us an idea. There are at least 50 plus stones, mostly slate, that need to be restored. Then he gives a price on Cove Hill, and then we'll know what to target for on a grant and how much to ask for. You know, that'll be the next grant to write, would be for Cove Hill.
Yes, and I'm still getting clarification from DAR and on if they don't have to be, you know, some sort of American Revolutionary War or Civil War type thing. No, I think it's just, but just hold tight on me getting clarification on that. We're meeting the 21st, so I'm going to get more clarification on that, May 21st.
Just for the notes, so you're talking about the next grant round of the DAR would be a place we might be able to submit.
For
Is that
Cove
right?
Hill.
Yeah.
You only have 3 or 4 veterans there. So would they restore non-veterans?
That's when I'm going to find out, May 21st. Let me ask
Great,
you this,
great.
what kind of veterans are they?
There's I have 2, actually, 1 Civil War and 3 American.
Oh,
I think that's
could any of those 3 be used to replace Forbes?
and he's
Replace
not. I
what,
don't
Sandy?
think what the thing was, Carol, on the number of stones that the fans are going to restore in First Parish. There were 10. One of the persons was Reverend Eli Forbes, and I couldn't find any verification anywhere that he was associated with the Revolutionary War. He was preaching during that time, but being associated with the Revolutionary War, being listed in the war, there was no documentation, so he had to be taken off the list. So, so the fans still do so they only have 9 people to restore. They still want to do 1 more, and so my goal is to find a stone in First Parish of an individual who was in the colonial wars, because this grant covered people in the colonial wars as well. So
Okay.
that's what I'm talking about. And my problem, Sandy, with that is
I'm sorry, Chris,
have
can you tell me which grant that is? Is that the Shrab grant?
Yes, the Shrab. Yes, we're talking
Thank
about
you.
the Shrab. Yes. Sorry. So
That's
Sandy,
all right.
the only thing I'd have to ask is, since the grant did not include Cove Hill, can I still prepare a veteran in Cove Hill? So that would just be a question. Maybe they'd say yes.
Now, who's this for Shrab?
Yes, for the Shrab.
What,
The Shrab
do you mean will Shrab mind?
Yes, because they they're very specific, and Cove Hill is not part of that Shrab grant.
Okay.
So Chris, that's up, you're gonna check on that?
Right, to see if we can prepare a veteran in a historic cemetery in Gloucester, even though this cemetery was not on the official grant.
You got that, Carol?
Got it.
Okay. Chris, this happened on the Shrab 2017 grant.
Uh-huh.
And the Shrab, John, what was his name? John, I can't remember. I don't know who you're dealing with the current Shrab. Could be even the same fellow. I had something happen to me that was like that also. And I had to swap some stones around. They said, this is your grant, you were awarded it, and you can apply however you would like to do that. And I had it in an email, and that was my guarantee that was all right.
Got it.
now the thing about Shrab is typically they have already sent you has already sent the check to the city. Is that right?
Right. Yes, it's been sent. It was sent in January, and it's gone through all the approvals, and the money is there.
That's why you don't need any other approval at this point from Shrab.
Yeah.
That's what
But
happened.
you'd want an email at least, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
so you just call them and just keep that email. And what he said to me is, we've already mailed you the check to the city, and the money is for you to do what you want. It's not they don't wait for the list and the sign off to pay for the stones. They trust the fact the list and the email is good enough.
Okay.
That's great. That's great to know, because maybe I think it's about $600, $600 and some odd dollars. So maybe they could fix 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's great information.
Okay, and you're probably not going to ask me to dig out that email. I save all my email and I will find that email. But as I recall, John was just so helpful, my sponsor.
Yeah, John
Okay,
John
great.
Warner still.
Oh my
Yeah, that
gosh,
sounds
John
good.
Warner. Did you just say Warner?
Yeah.
That's who I
Yeah,
dealt
he's
with.
still. Yeah, he's the head archivist.
That's great. All right. Okay, I think that we should move on. Unless let's see. Okay.
Number 12 is just memorialize it in our minutes so we can go back and find it again. The process for accepting donations.
We had this process at one time, fellow committee members, and somehow, I'm sure because we don't get a lot of donations, we either forgot or, I don't know what happened actually. But this is the process we need to go through in order to accept a check from somebody who's going to donate. And this is concerning the stone that we talked about earlier tonight.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Sandy, I wouldn't hesitate to approach the Fannons to see if they want to do one stone, if you want to get a quote from them as well.
Okay. It would probably
What
mean.
is that in reference to? I'm sorry, I don't know where to put that in the notes.
I'm not going to do that, Carol. You don't
Okay.
have to put that in the notes. I'm not going to do that because the Fannons build in travel time. If I knew they were down at the cemetery, for example, Chris, and I knew they used to let me know when they were going to be there, I would run down with the stone very carefully and show it to them. But for them to come back, the gas money they have said to me in the past is too much, and the travel expense and the lunches and set up.
They'll be here June, so you may have an opportunity.
But I mean, to come back to repair it at a different time could be difficult to justify the cost.
One of the stones there is like $95 to just cleaning that. Maybe they could work in that day when they're here already being paid to do the plumber stone. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I fear that the stone is broken, and I think there's nothing for it to sit on in the ground. Like it can't go into a base.
Right, it needs a base put in.
It's a child. She's 9 months old. I don't know.
You know best.
I don't know.
You know best.
Carol, you can put that in that the possibility to ask the Fannons for.
I'll go back and put that under Elizabeth Plummer, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
New business, number 13.
I have 3 items.
Okay.
Okay. The first one, Mike, I don't know if you're still there. I got a letter, I'm not sure why, from the State Historic Preservation Officer about work that the Mass Electric Company did with pole replacement on Cherry Hill. It's accompanied by photographs and maps and all kinds of things to show that they didn't do any damage to the historic Cherry Hill Cemetery. I suspect this should go right to Mike at the DPW. I don't know why it was sent to me. I was just telling you I've got it. And
Yeah, they probably just took the name off the website, a name off the website.
so I'll drop it off for you folks.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, that seemed like an easy one.
Just put a note in there what it was concerning, and that should do it on
Yeah.
that one.
Yep. I got a phone call from a woman named Elizabeth Parsons, whose ancestor Andrew Burnham Parsons was buried in the Washington Cemetery. And she and her brother are interested in putting a stone on his grave.
I
So
don't think
we
that's
have-
a city-owned cemetery.
That's the
though.
question, right? First question to Mike. Is that like Prospect Street? Do you manage that cemetery? Does anybody manage who owns Washington Street? What's the status?
The one across from Centennial.
It's on Western Avenue near Stageford.
Oh, you know what? I don't know who owns that.
Is there any way to find out?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna get the answer tonight for you, but I can certainly do some inquiries to figure out what the ownership is. I've seen the owner's name, the owners of the association's name before.
Okay.
It's just been some time.
All right, because there's a blank space where I have the map of the thing, and there's a blank space where they'd like to put the stone. There's no reason. Once, I'll get the information to Elizabeth after that.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you, Mike.
You.
No, I only had two things. The other one was about Langsford Street, and we already talked about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Augie, do you have anything you would like to talk about?
One thing, I'm still trying to connect with you, Mike. I'll follow up with another email to you in regards to the new cemetery space. But I was going into West Gloucester the other day, and there's a cemetery right next to that West Gloucester Trinity, or what is it?
The veterinary office right there.
No, the
Yes.
Trinitarian, it's a Trinitarian, Augie, Trinitarian Church of Christ.
Okay, so there's a small little cemetery that's right there. It looks like it. I don't know if that's a city-owned cemetery or a private. I know Mount Jacob is in the back, but this is a smaller one, right on the main road.
Is
That's
it right
the
next to the
Proctor-
veterinary's office there?
No, it's not. It's that's the Proctor Cemetery, Augie. It's by the Proctor family, and the church actually takes care. It's supposed to take care of that particular cemetery. The one right on the street on 133, correct?
Yes.
Chris, I couldn't understand the name of the family you said.
Proctor, P-R-O-C.
Oh, thank you. No, I got it now. Thank you.
Yeah, because there was some discussion, and they were actually in contact with the Proctor family, and they were hoping that maybe the Proctor family would donate some money so that they could kind of clean that little tiny private cemetery up. So that's still considered
Okay.
privately owned, Augie.
Did you have a concern about it, Augie?
It just looked like it was forgotten. That's
Yeah.
all.
It has been,
And the minister's my neighbor, so I will talk with her, Rona.
Good,
Oh,
good.
good.
That'd be great. Augie, when you speak to her, it was Donna Tula that I was speaking to. So she may want to speak to Donna Tula, who's a member of her church and on their council, who was looking into speaking with the Proctor family.
That cemetery is actually on the church's property itself. It's not standalone,
Yeah.
just part of the whole campus.
Yes,
Thank you.
I think Proctor. Yes, you're welcome.
It's funny how serving on the committee, all of a sudden you see the cemeteries everywhere, don't you? Well, you do anyway, I suppose.
I know. I do.
Good. Anything else? Anybody? Mike?
No, I'm waiting to hear back from one of the metal fabricators in town on some mock-ups. I will be reaching back out to them. They've just been so swamped with work because of the delay in materials, so it's just, everything's behind. Working on it, though.
Oh, good. Thank you.
That's the Clark gate that we're talking about, right?
Yeah, and, you
Yeah.
know, try to get a model that we can use in all of them.
Sounds good.
Good. Well, if nobody has anything else,
I do, Sandy.
oh,
I have,
Chris.
yeah. So, one thing is, we're talking about in-kind work. I wanted to ask the committee if I could use our email. I think Sandy, Carol had set up an email address and like, offline for the password, because I'd like to speak to V again and contact the cadets, the Sea Cadets, as well as the Junior ROTC, as well as the National Honor Society, to see if we could get some volunteer days, you know, from these various young people, you know, to clean stones up at Cherry Hill. So I'm just asking permission to use the email address that was set up, you know, for the Cemetery Advisory Committee.
I think that sounds good. Do you have the password and stuff?
No, I'll write you. You can send
You and
it
I,
later.
we can deal with that.
Right. So that's okay. And the other thing was
I don't,
The
that was
update-
just my opinion. I don't know if anybody else had an opinion.
I agree.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
and Augie and Mike.
Yeah, I know my daughter's a Girl Scout, and I was talking to the troop leader. I don't know if that would be something, are they too young? They're between 12 and 14.
No, especially, you know, if one of us could spend the time with them and yeah.
Augie, I think
So
they're,
would
you know,
it be like a form? I'm sorry, Christine.
No, the one I'm thinking that the reason why I didn't even think about them for Cherry Hill is because the stones, the veteran stones in Cherry Hill are heavy. They're like a Langsford and like Sumner Street. They're heavy with lichen, and I think the younger children would be great to involve them, but maybe more so in First Parish or where there's not so much scraping, because the kids will get, I think, so bored out of their minds scraping. You're spending an hour and a half scraping these stones. But I think we could use. I think it would be wonderful to have them involved with our other cemeteries. What do you all think?
Well, what, this 267 hours could be done anywhere, right?
I think it's going to have to be just for veterans, Sandy.
Okay. My question would also be, does it specifically have to be in the cemeteries that are part of the grant? And my guess would be that would be true.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And so it's just that I don't want to, I mean, these little Girl Scouts, you know, they're full of energy and full of enthusiasm. I don't want to turn them off to saying like, it's going to take you 3 hours to clean this one stone. Whereas in First Parish, you know, in an hour and a half, they can see something really beautiful, you know, in the sense it's looking good. It's just my opinion.
So,
And Christine, do
okay
you have
with
like,
the email.
is there like a formed email that you'll send to these groups, or would that be the preferred way you would want to contact these groups?
Yes, I think what we'll do is it's a very good idea, Augie. I think I'll write one up and then I'll have it at our June meeting, because I don't think we're going to have people coming in until June. And what we'll do is I'll put together a form letter, have you all review it, and then we'll agree upon a letter, you know, that we can send out to for volunteers to various groups. Do you all think that would be a good
Sounds
idea?
great, yeah.
Okay. And I was thinking about the Girl Scouts again. They might be really good with the bamboo skewers and just digging out the letters. You know, that might be something that, you know, there could be two working on a stone together even and just talking, you know. There could be something
Yeah.
about that.
Well, maybe it's just that these stones are up in Cherry Hill, especially many of the veterans are up by the hospital. It needs a lot of scraping before you can even read, what's.
I gotta go up. I want to go up, and if you're going to be going over on Sunday after
Right.
I'll come over. I'll come over there with you because I'd like to help out with that.
So Augie, we love your idea, and yes, we'll run with it with the Girl Scouts. And then who knows, some of these kids might think cemeteries are really cool after the experience. So yes, thank you for offering that idea as well.
And there's history involved that we could teach them.
Yes, exactly.
Chris, are you done with that subject?
That's done. So the next thing is I just want to clarify, update. So I sent you all, an email. So the CPA grant 2022 was submitted and last week, and it was submitted for $138,000, and it's focused totally on the total rehabilitation of Bayview Cemetery.
So we're going to call that one Bayview.
No,
Who's it being submitted to, Chris?
This is still CPA 2022, isn't it?
Yeah, this is CPA 2022 Bayview restoration.
So that's a separate one from the $9,800 one.
Yes, that was 2021.
Yeah.
And this one is just a submission, no award or anything like that.
No, but that's the date we want to go with, is the submission date. So
exactly.
Did we want to put that instead of under new business up with all the other grants as just pending? Because we put just grouping grants together. Do you think?
I can do that.
Chris,
you
okay
with
that?
idea.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I also wanted to know if you wanted to send what was submitted out to people to read. It was pretty, just really, really detailed and really well written.
Well, I had a question, if I may, because Chris sent all those docs through. Do we want to attach them to tonight's meeting as docs that we shared and that are now a part of our record?
Well, no, because they're
okay. That's just my question.
Do you know why? Let me explain why I don't think. Because some of them are in draft form.
Right.
Don't you think, Chris, some of them have the red draft on them? Well, at least one of them does.
Carol, I think we'll follow that idea when it's agreed on by the committee, and when the final letters of confirmation and the final letter of commitment are submitted. Does that work?
Yeah, it worked. Everything works. I'm fine. I just want to know what to do.
That's good.
Right.
And because I think people should take the time to read them all, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that they know what they're like voting on or agreeing to. Because I have one question, Chris.
Sure.
When we send a letter back saying, okay, or let's put it this way, say Rob, say Susie Q says, I'm committed to doing these 10 stones. I agree to do them for the city of Gloucester, signed Susie Q. And she gets COVID and she can't work at all during the year. What's our exit strategy in our recourse?
So exit strategy in case a contractor can't complete the work?
Yes.
Okay.
I would, if a letter of commitment has been signed, I would just, I think we have a contract with that particular person, and when they are better, they will come and fulfill their obligation and be paid. If they die, that's a whole different story. No, sorry.
They can't do it if they die. We have to acknowledge that.
We can't have dying jokes on a cemetery committee.
No, we can't.
Augie likes them. I heard.
Oh, that's right, Augie. We'll send them to you.
Augie's already too busy.
That's fine.
So anyway, that's my feeling. Do you want an out, Sandy? from the commitment?
Just in contracts generally, I could look to see what the Fannons signed.
I don't
No.
think
Yeah,
you
they-
usually put it out into the contract, because the assumption is that you're gonna complete the work.
It is, but what
Right.
if we don't like the work and we want to give them the boot also halfway through? Because Rob is wonderful, the Fannons are wonderful, and Jonathan's wonderful, but I'm just thinking as a general process, maybe we don't have to worry about it right now. I'm not sure. Are we pinning the city to something? Is it something we should maybe run by somebody? It's a contract.
I guess I never
Yeah.
thought about the fact that we would hire somebody whose work we didn't know was of a quality we wanted them to do the work.
Right,
Are
right.
there
Right.
terms on the contract?
Well, can you see, can you let me share, Sandy?
Yep, I can also, I have them here if you want me to open one of
yes,
them.
yes, you do that, you do that.
Okay.
But these are drafts, Mike, and the restorers have seen the draft. One is a letter of confirmation that yes, we did get the grant, and the second one is a letter of commitment from the restorers saying they will do the work.
Yep. Documents. Okay. All right. So what I have here is a draft. See my, these are the names of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you think it is?
Well, there's confirmation. You can do the confirmation. Just says yes, we got the grant. And it states what we're expecting them to do. So
This one, you want me
show
to
them
open
that.
this one?
Sure. There's two letters because there are two types of letters we all have to agree upon.
Which one do you want me to open?
The confirmation is the first one. The one that you had, Sandy, just below. And then we'll do the confirmation, then the commitment. So this is the first one, y'all.
Okay, so. Okay, so Augie, we have this paragraph.
What do I talk to you about? Yeah.
Whoops, darn. Okay, so we have this
And-
paragraph.
Mm-hmm. And then and the other thing too, what we have to remember, all these people are working outdoors, so everything's always stipulated, weather permitting. Because if we had a summer that was pure rain, God forbid, they'd be hard pressed to get all the work done unless they brought them into a shop.
And they all have insurance, like in case a stone falls on them or something, just so the city's not liable, right? Or is that, I don't know how.
Have you ever, I don't know, I didn't even know these letters were necessary until the fans spoke to me about them. I should ask about that. I assume they had insurance, but we should ask. I'll ask that for both of them.
Yeah.
I know Rob does.
That's great. I would, I'm sorry, but I sent you some documents so late in the day today. Maybe we should all read these and just, do we have to worry about any of these right now? These
Well,
letters?
I think we need to get this work done because everybody should be starting their work in June, and the Fannons may be very document sensitive, and they may not start anything until these documents are in their hands. So,
Okay.
so I do think, we're talking about now, Carol, you're our rules person. Everybody, we're talking about this particular, situation. Everybody has a copy of this. Could people read and get some feedback? Okay, so Mike, the other letter is a letter of acceptance. If you could, Sandy, there's a Shrab acceptance. So Mike, this is what the Fannons, which are the restorers, this is what they're saying about their commitment to us.
just as a, I mean, these seem to me very formulaic, and there's really not anything to object to here. This is,
Right.
you know, it's the same kind of letter that is always sent when you're engaging in a contract with people. And I guess Sandy's question about insurance is a good one, but I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But the fact is that the city, Mike, allows us as a committee to make contractual obligations to these people, right? Mike?
He's not on.
Uh, but
I think he left.
that's my assumption, that basically we're empowered by the city to make these contractual obligations because that's what we do. That's one of our jobs.
Right. And in the letter of confirmation, I was very specific on what we expect them to accomplish.
Right.
And telling about, the rules, the motion we just passed, saying that, and also when we expect the work to be done by.
Yep, right
And-
here. Okay, just ask them,
About the insurance.
yeah, and if they don't show the review by, I mean, is this open-ended? How long can that go on for?
What does that mean, Andy?
Are we just, 1 year, we lapped over into winter. They didn't complete the work in December or November. And we agreed to carry it over into like June.
I think that probably depends on the grant, Sandy. So like the Shrab, we've got the money. So if we decide it's okay to extend it over the winter, that's fine. But another
Yeah, I
grant
think
might
it was-
have a time constraint on it.
I think, now, does it say this is Shrab? Okay. I think, oh, good point. So this is all Shrab.
Right. So we're in charge of this, and that means if we make the decision to say to the Fannons, okay, it was a terrible summer, it rained and rained and rained, you're going to be able to finish this in the spring, then we could do an addendum and just
Yeah.
let them finish the work.
Okay.
I mean, just reasonable.
This is good. And Chris, thank you so much. This has been really good. Do we want to do we want to make a motion to at least get this letter out? If people are reading it on the screen right now and it's 1 page, if they're all right with it, I will say
Go ahead.
that I am good because of this. I'm good because the money is spoken for. And I love that Forbes was not considered and that this money is still available to do a substitution.
So I need a motion that's sort of says, basically, we're delighted at the grant that Chris has succeeded in getting, and we want her to go ahead and make the contractual commitment to the Fannons.
And there's another one for Rob as well.
It's
Okay.
like this one, though. It looks like
Yes,
this.
they're identical. It's just.
So as a
it's just-
committee is what I'm saying is we're saying to Chris, thank you for writing the grant, and as a committee, we're giving you permission to go ahead and follow up with you make the contractual commitment.
And send letters.
Confirmation letter and
Yeah,
the commitment
letter of
letter.
confirmation to Rob and then letter of confirmation to the Fannin.
All right, so I'm writing it out, and Rob Sarabian. So
Yeah.
it says the motion is, thank you to Chris Maney for writing the grant, and as a committee, we would like you to send out the letters of confirmation to the Fannons
Spring
and
site
Rob Sarabian.
preservation.
Did you
How's
want to
that
say
sound?
anything about committee reviewed them?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. So Chris took, the committee has
Mhm.
reviewed the letters, has reviewed the documents. So the motion is, the committee has reviewed the documents and would like to thank Chris for writing the grant. And ask you to send the letters of confirmation to the Fannons and Rob Sarabian. How's that?
And I'm sorry, and Carol, the letters of confirmation and then to receive the letters of commitment, right?
Well, we received them. We don't have to have permission to receive them.
Well, their drafts. See, I have you look at them to make sure you're happy with their letters of commitment.
I'm saying the letters of commitment are coming from them. We don't need permission for the letters. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so you're happy with, okay, they're there for you to see, but if you, that's fine, that's fine.
We looked at one, it was pretty, let's see, it was this one.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay, yeah, wait a minute, wait, oh, I had a question. These stones weren't listed on the, they were on two separate pages, that's what it was. Whose was it? Confirmation, proposal, okay, there was this, okay, one had stones on it separate. See this one? Is that stones?
That's Rob's, that's, yeah, that's the Fannons.
Okay. I love how they put everything they're going to do to those. And then they also put a materials list. Okay, but where's the part? Where's the other part to this that talks about the grant? Is that like sheet number 2?
I only sent you the proposal and their confirmation and their commitment letter, Sandy.
Okay, hang on a minute.
Okay, can I just, I know what you're doing, Sandy. I'm going to let you finish that, but I've got the motion. The committee has reviewed the documents. I would like to thank Chris Maney for writing the grant and support sending, and we support sending the final contractual commitments to the Fannons and Rob Sarabian. Does that work?
For the motion, you mean, that's going to
Yeah.
come? Okay,
Yes, we could just
well,
deal with it.
that's going to come. And then, but on the tail end of that, Chris wanted to know about the thing that comes first, and that has to do with making sure that the proposal. And so let me just finish. So
Sure.
This one here is the what they propose to do, but this looks like a page 2.
That's just what they sent me a big document, but this is their proposal. So it was a document where they were talking. I haven't looked at it in months, but it had nothing to do with the proposal itself.
Maybe it's this. Maybe it's this. It's almost like there should be a document. So you're saying that there was another document that came in.
Not with this. This is separate. This is all that came in for the letter of commitment. But they sent, when they were proposing, working on the grant, she sent me, some bunch of pages that tell us, where they've had their training and things of that sort. But then when she wanted the letter of confirmation, she sent me the pages that you have for the proposal. Those are the only pages I have for her proposal that she most recently sent me.
That's funny. You'd think that she would include this somehow in a document, but.
Well, we just wanted the proposal, Sandy. What's going to be, this is what she's committing to. She's committing to, doing those stones.
And somewhere else it says that she's committing to it.
On the draft that she sent us, yes.
Which is a single page.
Exactly. Well, she's got COVID, so she didn't feel like writing a lot.
This one. Okay, so Carol and Augie, what she's saying is this is Minxie committing to something that was sent somewhere else. There was another document somewhere else.
No. She's committing to the proposal. That's why I sent you all a copy from each one. That proposal that you all have copies of, they're committing to that work. And in her letter of commitment, she's also saying, you know, she understands that Reverend Eli Forbes is not going to be restored, but they want to find a substitute
Yeah.
for it.
Okay, so you're saying this is the proposal.
Yes, exactly. And the prices, estimated prices.
And we know it because that's what's in the title, right?
Yes, exactly.
Not other, because this is just a stone list, but we'll just assume that the title's
No,
good.
that's the one she supplied me with.
That's
this is the one
good.
she supplied me with.
Nope, good, 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 good.
And so I'm sorry now. I know Carol needs her motion now.
I need it. Yeah. So, in regard to the Shrab Veterans Grant 2022, I use that term because that's what we're calling it. The committee has reviewed the documents and would like to thank Chris Maney for writing the grant, and we support setting the final contractual commitments to the Fannons and Rob Sarabian. That's the motion. Second it. No, I wrote it, so I can't second it.
Second it.
I second it. Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we
Any
go.
opposed?
We done? We're
I
over time.
just-
That's the reason I asked.
Yes, and I there's one more thing, but I would like to just mention it so we can put on the agenda for next for June. So in writing this letter of confirmation, it occurred to me about the motion, and it may be just me, but when the motion for payment, when it was written, were we saying that we only pay one final payment to a restorer after they give us their reports and after 2 people have seen the work completed? Or are we saying that, because I'm thinking about the 3-year grant, if we get it, so that person, that restorer who gets the 3-year grant, I know he's not going to wait for 3 years to get paid. So could we just put on the agenda so we can clarify that particular motion?
Sounds
Yes.
like a good
Well, okay,
idea.
we'll do that. In the meantime, could you ask the CPC how other grant recipients handle multi-year payments and
Okay,
contracts?
yeah, when we win, but just like you said, Sandy, a lot we have to submit reports when we have an extended grant over a period of years. We have a lot of reports to submit, and but I will if we win the grant, I'll ask them about payments.
All right, but we could certainly put that on the June agenda to chat about it.
Thank you.
Could you ask them though? Oh, by the way, those status reports are monthly. But could you ask, will you ask the CPC?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, how payment is dealt with and before our June meeting.
Right, I will. What I want us to discuss is I just didn't know if our motion that we all voted for unanimously is keeping us a little is tightly written, and maybe there's no flexibility for multi-year grants with respect to that motion. That's
We can change motions.
Right. But I will ask that before our next meeting, Sandy.
Yeah, cool. Very good. Oh, all
A
right.
motion for adjournment?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Third.
Second. Third,
Thanks for
fourth.
spending this extra time. This was really important stuff, you guys, and stay healthy. There are no descenders. If I had a gavel, I would close the meeting.
See you
Stay
Sunday
safe.
morning.
Yes,
Okay,
Sunday.
it's great
And
seeing
Augie,
you.
we'll see you Thursday. We'll talk about it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, sounds
Bye.
good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.